Hey folks, Richard here. I'm going to plug my blog, Facts for Working People. We know what's up.blogspot.com. I haven't done this for a while. I've been numerous reasons, and I also I wanted to do it. I've tried a few times live, and I'm lost there. It's not been very good, so I'll return to it maybe, but I didn't want to just waste another hour or whatever. But I wanted to touch on today on the most important thing that we're reading about, or the most important headline. There's an Iran ceasefire. Of course, already in relation to the announcement of it, Trump is saying when it is, and Trump is trying. We've gone through this so many times, nobody knows what to believe anymore. But let's assume that there is a ceasefire of some sort, and numerous major outlets have announced that. And one of the headlines I read one of the headlines and a description underneath, and it talked about how Pakistan is being praised. Thank you. His name's Sharif, I think, the guy in Pakistan. Thank you, Pakistan. Thank you, United States of America and Donald Trump and the Iranian government and so forth for this arriving at this, using diplomacy and putting an end to this horrible war and so forth. And but the thing is when I see that, it's again, firstly, you've got a number of rotten regimes. The Pakistani regime's a rotten regime. The Iranian regime is a rotten regime. The U.S. regime is the most rotten, the rogue regime. And so you have these three agencies here. Then you've got the Arab regimes around Iran and in the Middle East, and so none of them can be trusted. But the thing is that this time they also said something about it's great that it's most important to use diplomacy and so forth. Well, this is the phony diplomacy. It's the diplomacy that Assange exposed through the release of actual documents behind the scenes, that he exposed them why the US put a death warrant on him. So it's a phony diplomacy. Phony diplomacy. The most important thing for us as working people to understand is that the reason that if it occurs, and the reason it's gone on as long, and the reason if it occurs at all, is due to the heroism of the Iranian people, the sacrifice of the Iranian people, the deaths, the destruction of its entire leadership, like them or not, and other senior officials, the bombing of its infrastructure and so forth. Despite all of that, it's held fast against the most ruthless, and it's with its proxy Israel, the most ruthless, rotten, violent regime on the face of the planet. And so that's where we have to first look to see why this has come about at all. It's through the heroism of the Iranian masses, and that's where we need to look, and so forth. So that was the first thing I wanted to comment on. The second thing, I've got to add a little bit of not been too well. The second thing is the elections. A friend sent me a note about a guy. It's a decent person. This to send me a note about this person who's a bit of a commentator, a young political bigwig in the Democratic Party, and asked if I knew them. And it's a guy named David Hodge, I think. And so this Hodge is recommending a number of people, progressives, for Democrats for office. So I looked at this guy Hodge, and it's the same old thing. He talks about. There's no. First, I explained to my friend, who's a good person, as I say, look, there's no way out through the Democratic Party. If you haven't drawn the conclusion that party is a major part of the obstacle, then I don't know what else to say to you. That party, there's no way out for working people through that party. But when I looked up Hodge, because I didn't know about him, now he was a survivor of a school shooting, and as often in U.S. politics and in much politics, it gets personalised. I don't know the guy. He might be a nice guy, might be genuine. I'll doubt it to creep up the way he has. That's a lot of opportunism there. They know how to get ahead. They're crafty fellas, and so. But I looked him up, And he says, a quote I saw from him, he's saying that people should, quote, get over politics and get something done, end quote. And he challenges Americans to stand up, speak out, and work to elect morally just leaders regardless of party affiliation. Well, it's nothing to do with, what does that mean, morally just leaders? To some people, an abortion is immoral. To some, same-sex marriage is immoral. To some people, they think there shouldn't be a social welfare system, and it's immoral to do that, and it, undermines this and it. Morality, that's identity politics. It's the same that got the Democratic Party lost in the last election. It's identity politics. One man's morality is it depends whose morality we're talking about. Okay, it's just garbage. And then he goes on. It's funny because he says Americans should get over politics and get something done. But then what's he doing? He's running as a Democrat, right? And he tells people to get over politics, but he's running as a Democrat. And he's trying actually to attain. He's going to run for Senate or something. Well, what's that? Oh, he's moral. Is that it? Is that it? It's just so ridiculous. It's like when a person said, I can't remember if it was when I was running for Oakland City Council or not, but it was about, asked the question about, am I a Christian? And that's irrelevant. A person's religion is irrelevant in a political election. The real question, if you're concerned about that, about your religion, is I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or I'm a Jew, or whatever. Do you support my right to belong to that religion and to freely express it without discrimination and violence? And my answer is yes, and I'll defend that. The identity politics is a waste of time. So the thing is Hodge is talking, and like a lot of these progressives, I will fight. We'll get there and fight. We'll go to fight. I've heard that in the Labour movement. Vote for her. She's a fighter. I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to fight for that. The main issue is what strategy, what tactics, what are you going to do differently? Because I've heard it all before. And the bottom line is this. With the progressives, look at Plattner, who's further to the left than this guy Hodge. I believe he's a decent fella. He's genuine. And he's got a platform. It's not unsimilar to Bernie Sanders. He's got a very mild reform platform, just like Mamdani. But he's going to get in there and, like Hodge, elect fighting Democrats. Well, I just don't know. That doesn't say anything about anyone. It's what you're going to fight for, and more importantly, how you're going to fight and what your solution is. And here's where they end. Here's where the progressives die. Because they know, and it's the same in Britain, and it's the same in Northern Ireland right now. They can speak to the issues and the cause of they can speak to the issues and the problem, and they can only go so far. And then they're blocked, and they have nothing to say, because the real issue is the system is the problem. Capitalism is the problem. Capitalism cannot solve these crises. It will end life on this planet as we know it if we do not get rid of it. And neither of those parties are the path through which we can do that. So these progressives, they get there, and then that's the end of it, and then they end up betraying. Some will quit, some will whatever, turn rotten. Some others will, they'll just look at Sanders. He's a waste of time. You had an opportunity and you blew it. Anyway, so that's the major issue. That's if you don't realize, if you don't accept, you start from the position, capitalism can't be reformed. It will continue down that path to drag us all to the abyss. And if you don't start there, then you failed. You failed. Anyway, it's been a while since I've been back. I'd like to do live, and I'd like to chat with people and have questions about what I say and get involved in the debate. I don't have the skills at this point. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon, and it's nice for me to be back. For me it is, anyway.